Welcome back to the GSTL. It's time for Stream, aka X-Stream, which is what we will likely call him because he's formerly of the team's NX and was in the clan Nex. That's why he called himself Next Stream as a pun. And then when he joined StarTale, he kept his ID the same, which doesn't quite make sense. But
he's extreme.
Yeah,
There's just no doubt about it.
This is going to be interesting because now we have a different matchup. It's Ro8 versus Terran again. I think we're going to see a very different game.
Yeah, we will definitely see a very different game. This should be really good. And today's an awesome day. We're having a lot of fun here. I hope that you guys are enjoying the broadcast. Definitely let us know. Send us a quick tweet at ProxyWolf and at Kaldor.
Yeah.
We're having an awesome time casting these matches for you, and I really hope you enjoy them.
I really want to stress again, a lot of people are tweeting at me saying they're really excited because they can see what EHQ is like. Tell your friends who've never watched StarCraft before to watch this. And also, if you've never tried premium service before, this is what it looks like. You're looking at it right now. So you should consider buying it for the regular seasons.
Exactly. We have EHQ free today, so check it out.
Yeah, if you're using HQ, or SQ right now, you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, you're doing it wrong. I'm sorry, guys. Calling out here.
There's like one guy right now who's like, I'm on dial-up, I don't have a choice. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, dude. You need to also fix your internet.
By the way, something else. I have been getting tweets like crazy today. People asking about the VODs, if they will be free too, because they can't catch their matches live. If you just tuned in and you didn't see the earlier 3 games that we had, don't worry about it. All the VODs will be free as well.
Everyone. Yep.
Wolf is dying next to me. He's like so excited about everything being in HQ. He's like, oh my god, this is so crisp. This is awesome.
I just had a coughing fit. It's really weird.
Dude, get yourself something to drink. Here,
all right,
have a hot 6.
Thank you very much. Let's jump into Akalon Flats. Ro8 versus Terran. Can the Supernova streak be broken? So we're about to find out here at the GSTL Pre-Season, casted by Kaldor and Wolf.
Alright, new guy. Let's try this again. This time to the bottom right. In yellow, we have the Protoss player for StarTale. It is...
StarTale. Dream.
A lot better. I talked to him during the break, and I think he really... He knows now.
Yeah, he knows what's up.
Well, let's wait. 1 player's left. To the top left of the map, we have his opponent. Starting for Team AZUBU, it is...
AZUBU Supernova.
And by the way, this is the GSL version of Akalon Flats, not the version of Akalon Flats that you have probably played on in the beta. So there's no rock tower. It has the same watchtowers that disappear after 7 minutes in the middle of the map as well. So don't be confused. Just wanted to clarify that for everybody. So the same one you see in Code A and Code S.
Yep. Lends itself to a few different timings like this, but yeah, there you go. So we have a pause.
You know, people were tweeting at me about this, what they think the pause might be about. It's probably, I think, this thing where you can't select your opponent's units or neutral units on the map to see what building it is, for example. So people are probably figuring out how to set that. Because once you set it once, and you play the beta for 3 months, then you don't remember how to set it again, then you come to the GSL and you're like, wait a minute, how do you set this?
You know what I would really be interested in? Why was that implemented? Does that really help like Bronze League players to focus on their own units, their own game? Is this really a problem for people out there?
I'm not sure. To be honest, I don't quite understand it myself, but I was playing with Doa the other day at PC Bond, and he and I just got so angry trying to figure out which button it was, but we figured it out finally. Once you set it once, you're okay, but you go to a new computer, you're not sure how to set it. You could get a little bit annoyed when you're in a ladder game and you're trying to find out what building that is. Is that a pylon or a dark shrine? You're like, I think that's a dark shrine, but...
Yeah, you're making a pretty good point, though, because this might definitely be one of the issues that we have here. So the pause is by our new player, by Extreme. Yes. He just paused the game, not Supernova. Everything's still fine for him. He had a problem a little bit earlier when he was playing against Aphrodite, I think, in his first match. So I'm not quite sure what exactly the issue is, but we'll find out very, very soon. And yeah, we just saw a few information about GSL Code A next week, of course, on Tuesday and Wednesday. By the way, live is again sleeping.
This is true. You know, they asked in the chat if it was a hotkey problem. He can't type in Hangul, so I can't actually... He's got a bug on his PC where it won't let him change the input, so he typed with a bunch of letters I don't understand. Oh. So they're going to make a new room entirely.
Seems to be a client problem, yeah.
Something with the client. So just a bug. Of course, this is still, we're playing this on the beta, so there's always going to be an occasional issue here and there. Luckily, no units were killed. There was no scouting, so this is not going to affect the builders of the two players at all.
I want to see who the next players are. I want this match to go the whole distance. I'm a little bit sad that it's only a best of 7. I want to see as many games as possible today here in Heart of the Swarm. And Violet is in high spirits. We had him once again in the backstage area when we had our break just now. And his English is just always blowing me away.
Yeah, it really is.
It's getting even better. It's like, wow.
He's like using all sorts of crazy slang with me and stuff. I was like, it wasn't like 100% correct, but I was like, you're getting it, man.
It's pretty cool. Violet is actually amazing. This is such a nice guy. And of course, Supernova. So you don't have to look sad. You are a pretty cool person too. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, Supernova.
Not even a single smile. Oh, come on, buddy.
Supernova's never really, I feel, had his deserved moment in the spotlight. All right, listen, buddy, you're a little bit late to get a date. All right.
Yeah, I'm really sorry, but Eve already played.
Just a little bit embarrassed there, but that's fine. Played a decent all-in on her first map, for those of you guys who missed it, but I won't spoil the results because all the VODs are free. You guys can go and watch it. She's like, all right, get me off this camera, put Wolf and Calor back on, so we're like, here we are. So the map has been rehosted. We're in the lobby now, and we'll be jumping back into it.
So we have our Terran versus Protoss coming up in a few seconds. Stream was always a player in the GSTL who could do well, who was trained as a sniper quite often in the past. And this is... I'm actually not quite sure if this is the first time that I see him in the booth since they joined, or since they merged with StarTale. I actually think it is.
I think you're right. I don't think he's qualified or done anything since then.
I actually think I think this because I think we never made fun of the StarTale Dream situation.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. You know,
I would remember that.
I think so too, and I think maybe he's played in some online leagues like qualifiers, and I've watched him play before, but I don't think I've actually commentated him since that moment.
I'm still a little bit sad that Street Fighter Voice is gone.
By the way, don't worry, speaking of Street Fighter Voice, he'll be in Code A, so don't fret. I'm pretty sure he'll still be there.
Yeah, but the thing is, what happens in the new season? I feel like in Heart of the Swarm, the new guy takes over, and I don't know why. Did Street Fighter Voice retire? Does he have a new job?
I think it's just going to be one of those mysteries, man. He could make a comeback.
And we also need to come up with a name for the new guy.
I don't know. I'm still thinking
Ken doesn't cut it.
I was
Stop
thinking
it.
Ken, man.
Ken does not cut it. I know the new Heart of the Swarm color looks a little bit like pink, but this is not Ken.
All right. Well, I'll leave the naming to you then.
Guys, we need feedback. We need input here. We need ideas. So if you have any, let us know.
Everybody's just gonna tweet at you that you should be called Ken, and you're gonna
no, not Ken. Come up with something else. Well, we jump into the game right now, and now we don't need our new voice anymore because we already introduced the players. To the top left, we have, of course, in blue, Supernova for Team AZUBU. And to the bottom right, in yellow, we have his opponent, the StarTale player Extreme, former ZX player. Lost the X when they merged with StarTale, but yeah, we'll be generous today. We'll still give it to him.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to change it eventually, as he seems to be very gung-ho on sticking with Dream, even the ID calling him Dream, but it's kind of like ASD. When he joined FXO, he was ASD FOU because it goes across the ASDF part of the keyboard, but then and FXO, when he joined, that was still part of the team. We were like, you need to be ASD FXO, and he was like, no, I want to be FXO ASD. And we're like, that ruins your ID, but okay.
But I feel this still works, you know, because he doesn't use an actual word.
Yeah, it's not like you can't say it. In this case, you just use part of a word that doesn't mean anything. Again, this restart doesn't affect anything because there was no scouting, no interaction between the two players. They both just started their builds and they restarted. There were no mistakes. So neither player gets an advantage or disadvantage from this. And it looks like actually Supernova is going to change his build though and go for a command center first.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. Is already up to 300 minerals, so this lends us to believe that he's going to start with another expansion fairly soon in this game.
This is really tough to hold against somebody who goes for that mothership core pressure though. That's why he makes it in the main base. I like this choice.
It's also so cool to see, you know, he didn't even scout, he didn't even send out an SCV, he wants all the minerals that he can possibly get with this. And I want to see what exactly Extreme is going to do here. This is like the one thing that I'm the most curious about. Against Terran, you see a lot of proxy Stargate play on the ladder.
There's a lot of different Protoss openers in general in this matchup specifically. There are so many different Stargate openings. I mean, there's the Phoenix opening, which is better than it was before. That's something that is a very real thing now. And then there's also the Oracle openings, and there's Void Rays. Beyond this, then there's the Dark Shrine and the Blinkstalker play with the Mothership Core.
Just in general, we talked about this when we headed into today's cast, but what Blizzard really tried to do was, for a lot of those races, giving them more options. And one of the problems that you had in Rings of Liberty as a Protoss player is that if you didn't get your robotics, you were gambling a lot, because you didn't have, especially in this matchup, detection.
Yeah.
You usually didn't have a Forge against a Terran this early in the game that you could get the cannons to defend your mineral line, so you had to start it with the robotics. And now we have, with the Oracle, additional means of detection. And we have also for Extreme, as we already talked about, he's going for the Stargate here. He has so many options right now, but he's choosing the Stargate variation.
With no Warp Gate research coming out, I think we're going to see the Oracle. He wants to have it out as soon as possible to do the best amount of harass. This is not something that Supernova will necessarily notice here in the main base. I'm checking, he does not click, he doesn't really try to see if that Cybernetic Explorer is researching. And he will lose his SCV. This is really important because now he can't scout. It could be Void Rays again, just like we saw earlier, but I'm thinking Oracles with no Warp Gate research coming down.
Void Rays, Oracles, everything's possible, but I have to agree with you here. Oracle, that's the choice that he's going for, and it makes a lot of sense.
Lose the gas, he just barely has enough to get this right when the Stargate finishes, and if he had researched Warp Gates, he would not have had that with constant production of his Stalkers. Now he starts Warp Gate research, but it's much more important for him to have this out so early. Oh, this is going to be so devastating. If he doesn't have his units in his natural, he's going to have to pull them down.
The thing with the Oracle is, of course, that it's quite a huge investment. It's very fragile, but it can do so much damage. A little bit like a glass cannon. If you go into the mineral line, you can take out Harvesters so fast.
Here we go. Wants to use that Pulsar Beam ability, which is an ability that's activated. That it's like kind of like Cloak. It takes 25 energy initially, then drains. Here we go.
And so cool by Extreme also to just poke at the ramp and make sure that the Supernova draws all his units to the bottom right, and so many Harvesters already going. Bam!
Now he pulls his Marines up, and this is when the Stalkers and the Zealots come into the natural. This is such a difficult opening for Terran players to defend against right now.
Especially with the opening that Supernova chose to go for. He chose to go into an expansion right away, and now units are dying everywhere for the Terran player. 8 SCVs already down, and here comes the second Oracle. He can go straight for another round of the Pulsar Beam.
He can fight the Marines, I think, Caldor, if he wants to. He goes for the Pulsar Beam.
Bam, the moon is gone.
He activates a little bit prematurely, though, and we'll actually have to leave now.
But look how much mining time has been lost at this point.
Yeah, it's actually ridiculous. And the third Oracle is about to appear. With 3 Oracles, you can almost fight a turret if you micro
This opening is designed to really give Supernova the edge in economy, but it has completely been negated so far.
Yes. The Marines are going to chase these away. I don't think he has enough energy to really turn around and fight, but he's keeping them in the main base where he could attack the natural at any moment if he chooses to.
And here come now the missile turrets, and he really needs them. Also, on the production tab now is the Mothership Core. Very important in general now for the openings that Protoss players have. Gives a lot of options.
He's going to fight the Marines. He's going to get away from that turret, though. Not a lot of hit points on Oracles.
Well played, though. Look at this. He takes down a lot of these units. Once again, scares the SCVs away.
The Oracle's just doing so much harassment. He's actually camping the production facilities and going for the tech lab. If that tech lab falls, that means no stem. He can't defend it with anything. If he runs his Marines over, the Marines will die. And he's out of energy.
Yeah, he has to micro-well, and that's exactly what Extreme does. He pulls all of those Oracles back. So there's the Stargate there, the natural. We have also a few ground units fighting. The Zealot and those Stalkers got cheeky again, and they are able... The Zealot dies,
Only
but
at
least the Stalkers survive.
He has killed 11 Harvesters so far, and both Stalkers have not taken a single point of damage to their hit points, only shields. Now we have Phoenixes coming out, and the Robotics. You know what that means, Color? We're going to go into Phoenix Colossi.
Yeah.
This is the build I was talking about doing basically when I was talking earlier, except obviously I didn't proxy mine, but if you proxy it, you can just do so much direct damage initially. It's a bit of a risk if you get scouted, but in this case, it's really paying off so far.
And here come those Oracles again, trying to do damage. Finally one of... No, he actually saves it. Wow, great.
Nice. It does lose a Stalker, though. But it's worth it to lose a Stalker to save an Oracle.
Yeah, just look at the situation that we have in the game now. A very good tech for our Protoss player. Extreme's doing very well here. And we have him with a huge lead in Harvesters. 40 against 30. And both of them are on 2 bases now. So even with the Mules, there is just no economy advantage for Supernova anymore.
Yeah, you're very right. Look at that Bay coming up here.
He's nowhere near the tech of the StarTale player, especially with the tech lab dying early on.
This Mothership Core was getting a bit aggressive out on the map, and he could trap some of these Marines and slow them down if he wants to with that Mothership Core, but it turns out he's going to miss it. And at this point, Supernova knows that there's something proxy. He just doesn't know if he can really get away with fighting it with no stim, no combat shields. There's Marines walking out on the map trying to find a Stargate. It becomes a bit of a liability at this point.
Yeah.
Here come the Oracles again.
Oracles once again on the hunt, trying to take down a few of those add-ons, and
Stops
they will
the reactor.
take
Oh
down the gas mining.
He's going to have to cancel the starport.
Just in time. And also lost another few SCVs. By now the kill count for Extreme is at 15.
This is pretty scary because now the Colossus production starts. He's got Phoenixes already on the map, and the Phoenixes are going to be there to counter the Vikings. And they have additional range in Heart of the Storm, so they're much more formidable and very difficult for a Terran player who's already down 20 supply, who's already with the weakened economy to actually face.
But you know, even though we have Supernova really being pressured by Extreme, I have to say that the fact alone that he is still alive and in good shape is really admirable.
I mean, certainly is.
He's down in supply and he's definitely behind in the game, don't get me wrong here, but still a lot of lesser players would have already lost this match.
Another bit of harassment. You know, Blizzard was intending for these units to be used more for harassment, giving the Protoss ability to harass with Stargate.
Succeeded.
It seems like it's working out okay, and here come the Oracles again. He doesn't stop, man, and he's got that forward pylon down. He wants to attack soon, I think, with the Colossus range.
Supernova is just desperate to try to get into a position where he can actually defend. He knows what's coming next. He really knows about all these moves that Extreme is certainly pulling out now.
Oh, the turret's not close enough to the reactor. He's got to be more diligent about things like this.
Getting at least one, and now stimming in. One Oracle down, the second one is getting...
And the third one should fall as well.
All of them. All of them gone. This was really important.
Yeah, and he saved the reactor, so he could continue his medevac production and perhaps more importantly, Vikings. The thing is, without a good Viking count, with this many Phoenixes already on the map, he's probably just going to skip them because he knows he can't hope to catch up.
Yeah. Those Oracles were a thorn in the side of Supernova, but he was able to take them out. Now he has to deal with the main attack, and this is the issue. But I love that he is sending one of the medivacs to the bottom right now. The afterburners are already being used here. He wants to be there as fast as possible to open up another front.
The Mothership Core has full energy, so he could use two abilities. He could recall back to the main and then use the full charge ability on the Nexus, but he can only do it on one Nexus if he does this.
Yeah. Full on charge would help him here a lot, but now we have the attack at the top right. Here comes the Guardian Shield already. The Phoenix is swooping in, picking up all those Marauders, doing a really great job here. The rest of the ground army is trying to bust through. The bunkers are not ready. Here comes the Time Warp.
The Time Warp's on the bunker, slowing down any SCVs who want to come over there and repair it. But you know what? Supernova is pushing us back. The Mothership Core is gone.
And the drop in the main base at the bottom right doing so much damage.
And he's going to unpower the gateways. Supernova is on his way back into this game right now.
The Artosis pylon is gone.
Now he goes to the natural. There's only 4 Stalkers here. I feel that's not enough if he can unload all those Marines. He doesn't quite get them all out, though.
He just gets back into the base, but Supernova has certainly turned the tides of the battle.
He's ahead in Harvesters right now.
This was really well done. Not only ahead in Harvesters, he has the Mules Wolf.
Yes. Now the Phoenixes are obviously going to try to change that, but what a back and forth game we're seeing now.
This is brilliant. This is just, this is so entertaining. And still those gateways aren't powered. He doesn't even build the pylon that he needs to build now. He needs to get power up at those buildings.
He picked the wrong probe to try to rebuild that pylon. He picked one that was a bit further away. Now he transfers back into his main base. You can see the saturation is listed on these nexi. 11 for one nexus and 9 at the other one. Much lower than he would have liked to have. With the mules for the Terran being lower, with the Phoenix harass and the Oracle harass, he's fine. The Harvester count is something that's even, but so is now the supply. The supply is even for these two players. He's trying to harass a little bit more, picks up some of these gas SCVs.
If you just think about the situation that Supernova was in only a few minutes ago, this is just so much better for him now. He really equalized the score. He's suddenly ahead in economy. He's getting his another starport up. And of course, with the with the Mothership Core gone, what Extreme could really have done is just not drop all these Time Warps, not use all the energy up, but then TP back at home. Well, I actually say TP, falling back into my Warcraft.
Well, I mean, it is a TP essentially.
You know what I mean.
He could have grabbed a few of his units. He could have also just sent the Mothership Core back by itself and then used the ability on the Nexus to push those units back. But as it is now, one other thing to consider is that Supernova is ahead in attack upgrades. He has +1 for his units, whereas the Forge is just now completing for a Pros player. He needs to control his units on the middle map. If he loses these Colossi out here with no support, he's going to be in trouble. And here come the force fields. Nice trap here.
That was well done by Extreme. Extremely good force fields here, trapping a lot of these units, but Supernova isn't done. He afterburns into the main base once again. Here's the Mothership Core, and immediately the Phoenixes are to the rescue, taking out not only the Medivac, but also making sure with the Gravity Beam that the ground units don't do too much damage.
One of the reasons why we had players like Phoenix, the Terran player that's on LGIM, use Medivacs, or rather Phoenixes with the Colossi is because you really make your opponent stop using drop play for the most part. And Supernova keeps trying it with the speed boost, but with this many Phoenixes on the map, it's a bit of a liability. You know, he's got to really reconsider doing any more drops at this point. Neither player can really take a third base. This is kind of reminiscent of Wings of Liberty beta, where both players are so aggressive with so many new harassment opportunities that people haven't figured out quite yet, that both players are a little bit scared to go over and take that third base.
Yeah. And I also like the defense the Supernova has set up, not only with the Widowmine and the font that gives him a little bit of vision, but also of control. But he scans and tries to find out where exactly Extreme positions his army. The Vikings just looking for an opportunity to take down these Colossi.
Exactly, and what he's doing with these Vikings as well is he's trying to say, hey, I'm going to pick off your Colossi. If you try to run your Stalkers forward, I'm going to go right back into my Widowmine. So you got to be careful about that. A Widowmine, as you said before, with the new shield upgrade, will one-shot a Stalker. This is intense, man.
Yeah, it certainly is.
To be honest, I think that at this point Supernova is still a little bit behind, but he's building the proper composition here, and if he takes a few good engagements in the middle of the map, he can turn this game around. The Widowmines go for the Phoenixes, take one out immediately.
Both gone now with the Observer. He had the vision. And this is where Supernova should drop a scan. He has to know that there is an Observer, and he saw it already, so using the scan here would really pay off. Limiting the vision of his opponent, but here we go again. The Guardian Shield is already up, and here come the army of Supernova and Extreme.
Wow, he's really getting some hits off with those Vikings. That's so important, and now he's down past the force fields. Can Supernova come back and turn this game around? It certainly looks pretty likely.
The Vikings in a brilliant position here, not only taking out all those Phoenixes, but now having a good position against those Colossi. He needs to micro the Bioforces back, though.
Yeah, and the Vikings were overkilling like crazy on those Phoenixes. He could have actually microed against the Colossi.
Yeah, you don't need to target down all those Phoenixes. You can just right-click those Colossi at a certain point and make sure that these beefy area of effect damage units are gone so that your ground unit can shine.
And the reason why Viking Flowers are introduced is because Vikings overkill like crazy. Wow, he's going to catch this Colossus potentially. No, he lets it go. That's insane. But, you know, if you have 8 Vikings shooting at a Phoenix that's going to die in one Viking hit, that's definitely a waste of DPS.
At least he took down the Observer. So that was also important. Without the Observer, this is of course a lot better now for Supernova. He isn't revealed immediately. This composition is not visible to Extreme anymore. But the Protoss player is looking at this like, well, I can't really break through here, and this is going to drag out a lot longer than I thought it would, so I have to go into my third base
Exactly, and this is a clock that Supernova is on now. He needs to attack soon. I feel like he could have actually taken that fight if he had micro just a little bit better, but as it stands now, he's facing a Protoss player who's about to have Storm. He's got that third base up. He's got the upgrades coming up now as well to catch up there, and Supernova is in trouble if he can't make some damage happen here, because moving his main base over to the third is just not quite going to be enough, I feel.
It's a good move, though. It's something that we don't see in Wings of Liberty often enough. I feel in this particular scenario, of course, it's also because of the map. The map just allows moves like this very, very easily. But you're right, the tech for the StarTale Protoss player, for Extreme, is so good now. With Storm and with Colossi, he has a lot of area of effect damage. We don't just see anything to counter the High Templars yet, and this is going to get a really big problem for the AZUBU Terran player.
I'm with you on that. He needs to have something for those. The Storms are going to eat through this Bioforce with not a lot of medevacs. He's only got 4 with his army right now. He's Viking heavy against an army that has, for the most part, switched out of Colossi. In total right now on the map, we have 4 Colossi, which is still a decent amount, but he's going to have these Vikings as dead weight once those Colossi are down, but he has no answer for the Storms, which are going to eat his bio for dinner.
Yeah. Dodging the Storms is going to be really crucial, and he doesn't have anything. We don't see EMPs, we don't have a Ghost Academy. He's just relying on his current build. I don't think that he has no information at all, does he?
No, he does not.
Even the Vin Diesel Afterburner doesn't save this medevac.
Now he sees with the Storms, but he doesn't want to see them like this.
Yeah.
That's the worst way to find out about Storm Tech.
Ah, that hurts.
He gets a good angle on his Vikings this time, though. He needs to have the SCVs tank some damage. I don't think this is going to work.
I don't think so either. This is just too much. Another Storm hits home, takes down the medivacs. Those The Vikings, of course. The last Colossus even survives. He can't even take this one down.
120 to 50 supply. A great attempt by Supernova. A few micro mistakes, but at the end of the day, Extreme's advantage was too much for him.
Yeah, you can run, but you can't hide. Supernova on the retreat. He is running like crazy, but there's just no place on this map for him to hide. Extreme is pushing his way through the Terran forces straight to victory.
GG.
GG. Game number 4 here, and once again, we have it tied 2-2.
I think it might be time to pull Violet out.
I want to see the Zerg player. We've seen Terrans, we've seen Protoss. I want to see a Zerg.
I want to see a Zerg as well. That was such a cool game to watch, though. It showed the great potential of harassment you can have as a cross player if you proxy your StarTale, and then the transition abilities you have into going Phoenix Colossi.
Yeah, it was a great game.
You know, a great defense by our Terran player Supernova. I thought he might be able to take that fight and crawl his way back into the game. It looked like he could take it. If he had microed his Vikings a little bit better, if he targeted more, I think he might have been able to kill that army.
It was definitely a very entertaining back and forth game that we saw between the two of them. In the beginning, Supernova hard pressured, but he defended quite well, and then suddenly when Extreme overcommitted in the first fight, he nearly equalized the score. So this was really, really cool here. And I have no clue who's going to win this match.
I don't know,
no
dude.
idea.
This is a totally new game. You know, we can talk about histories of these players, but when it comes down to it, this is a completely new game that we're watching right now. Silver Sands is going to be the map. This is the first time this map has been used in competitive play. You and I looked at the thumbnail again. We haven't cast any games on. Nobody has. Nobody's really seen this. The only people who've seen it are the players who've been practicing on the map secretly before it was even announced.
And right now we just have to wait who's going to be the next player for Team AZUBU. Supernova is out. You could always use Genius, but he would then play in a Protoss versus Protoss.
Protoss versus Protoss is pretty aggressive right now and pretty crazy.
It's really, really crazy. You have those target openings. You can go into Phoenix. You can go into Oracle.
There's always the DTs because they're a little bit faster now.
If you go into Oracle, your opponents have the Phoenix. You're already behind. It's really a little bit weird. I feel it's time for Violet.
I think it's time for Violet as well. You know, take the lead with a good, strong Zerg player who is good at actually most matchups. And this guy doesn't have very many glaring weaknesses. Plus, no one really knows what he's been up to, what sort of builds he's been doing.
Exactly.
He's kind of like the secret weapon Zerg on their team right now.
It's also one of the reasons why we might see him a little bit later in the match. I feel that today we are definitely going to see Violet. We are going to see Genius if he goes the entire distance. But
if you don't see Violet now, I don't think we're going to see Genius today. I think it could be top. I could see them pulling top out here and saying, you know what, let's try another Terran here. Someone who might be a little bit better at defending against this type of harassment. I could see top.
I just want to know what's going on right now. I'm excited for our next match already. This has been so much fun today. I really hope that you guys liked it. But we have Violet in the middle. Genius at the bottom right.
Son!
Oh, wow.
It's been a while, Son Zenith. Let's see what you got.
It's been a long, long time.
It's been a little while, man. This is insane. We were actually going to see Son. I did not expect Son today. Not in a Protoss versus Protoss.
Yeah, me neither.
Wow. I'm actually getting chills. Ooh, Son is back.
We looked at the lineup earlier of AZUBU, and it felt so 2011.
Yeah, man. 2010 and 2011, like old school. It's been 3 years since some of these players have really been dominant. Well, not quite 3 years. Like, it's been like 2.5, I suppose, because StarCraft 2 wasn't around in like the early part of 2010. But
this is pretty cool.
If you look at 2013, you look at 2010, there's a difference of 3 there. And if you look at my Wolf mind, that's how things work sometimes. But
I don't want to be in Wolfland.
You can see his Heart of the Swarm experience rate is at 1. Oh, the coaches give the experience rates, by the way. We just got an update on that. So,
okay, so what does that mean?
I just still don't know what it means, but like we know the coaches are rating him, and so they're saying he doesn't have a lot of experience in Heart of the Swarm. He's been playing mostly Wings of Liberty.
Yeah, 1 to 100. Well,
that's weird.
That's a little bit weird, yeah.
But
the coach gives him a 1.
It could just be like a non-serious thing.
That is definitely a non-serious thing. Alright, think about it. There's like 1, your coach gives you a 1. I would be like, Coach, are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm that bad? No. If he's playing here, he has been playing Heart of the Swarm for a while.
I'm sure he's been playing Heart of the Swarm, but
yeah.
This is going to be sick, dude. Protoss versus Protoss. San in the booth. You know, we have a Nex player from the clan Nex that's been around since the beta of StarCraft 2, Wings of Liberty. Now you've got San coming from the Zenith clan. They became Zen X after San had already left. You know, these guys have history. They've practiced together. They've been in the same clan channels before.
You know, San is actually ranked 12 in the ladder right now with a record of 104 to 38. Quick shout out here to Shellshock. These guys always have our backs. And yeah, so San has been playing quite a lot, so I'm not quite sure why he only got the rank 1 here, or the experience maybe won by his coach. I feel like probably...
They forgot some zeros, I think.
Yeah, they probably forgot a few zeros here.
I think so. San is one of the best defensive players, one of the best reactionary players. He's got good builders as well. I remember seeing him in the World Championship Series going for some carrier play, showing that carriers can be used in Protoss vs. Zerg. He said afterwards that it was a joke, but the way he used them actually made them look like they had some great utility.
Yeah. You know, when he was announced, you could really see that Extreme was looking at the screens like, ah, really, PvP? I don't want to, I want to dodge this, but no, he can't. We have a mirror matchup, guys. We have Protoss versus Protoss. It's San versus Extreme here at the GSTL Pre-Season tournament between StarTale and AZUBU. This series is tight. Who will take the lead? We're jumping into the game on Silver Sands right now. This is the GSTL Pre-Season tournament brought to you by Color Wolf.